What's good, Game On Wisconsin? Welcome back to another episode of Coast to Coast Packers. I'm Bernie Bango,
I'm Murmur Desai.
and we're like 1 month away from the draft. Pro days are almost through. The free agency market is starting to look like a thrift shop. You can still get a good deal or two in there. Hip drop tackles are a no-no now. And Love is getting ready to play Let's Make a Deal with the Green Bay Packers organization. I guess we got all that to unpack today and more. But first of all, how are you doing today, Homer?
I'm good, man. I heard Goody's comments today at the owners and at the GM's conference type, coaches owners conference or meeting that they have down in Orlando, Miami area. And coach, Brian Gutekunst's looking good, looking healthy. He's basically saying he likes the way things are shaping up for the safety class. Even though every single one of us looking at it like it's not that great, and he's talking it up. So I don't know, but
yeah,
it was good, man. I'm good, man. How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm making some lifestyle changes over here, and I'm getting ready to really dive into this sports media world, and so I'm excited, man. I'm finally doing it. Some dreams and some passions, man. So
Okay. That's awesome. That's what's up.
Thanks. Yeah, man. I'm saying, and like it's spring is here, right? Out here in the state of Washington, out on the West Coast. Like flowers are like in full bloom. Certain types of flowers like in full bloom, like in the middle of March. And so like the hiking game is good as long as you don't mind getting wet. But yeah, man, I'm loving it. I'm loving it out here.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
That's awesome. Man. So yeah. What do you want to jump into first? I mean, we like I said, we got free agency, contract extensions. We can get into draft talk. We can get into a quick conversation about like hip drop tackles. If I see a lot of people out there mad about the situation, and I've seen highlights of like here's what the NFL is trying to stop, but then there's also people also putting videos out there of like, well, in this situation, what else is the tackler supposed to do? I don't know.
For hip drop, it's kind of interesting because like every single example that the NFL committee showed was one where a player got hurt, like every single one. And that is what they're trying to talk about. Like even Kenyon Drake was talking about how he lost his right ankle in a quarter of his season in 2021 because of the hip drop tackle, right? And it's the way you go about doing it, right? It's a very specific way. I feel like it's a very specific way that they do it, where the horse collar tackle is like kind of like that. That's another thing too, where that gets overly officiated, right? Where if you just grab the back of someone's jersey and pull them down, they're hitting with a horse collar, even though their hand isn't inside the horse collar, it's like on the jersey, right? And the truth is, if you're pulling somebody down from the back, you are taking a chance of like hurting them. But on the same hand too, though, like you can hurt anybody with any kind of tackle. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I know what they're trying to do. I understand that, a lot of players got hurt because of that tackle, but like they're gonna get hurt. It's gonna be interesting to see how the NFL officiates that, because when it comes to anything in officiating, it's all subjective, right? And it's all about just like this referee, what they see based on what their interpretations of the rules are, and not every referees the same. They all referee differently. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm just hoping that it really doesn't like take away from the defensive side of the ball, because as much as people love the offense, like having a good defense is fun too. I know it's not all like bells and whistles, but them defensive games can be a good time too. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see what they do, because there's some things that they've introduced that I kind of agree with, like giving coaches an opportunity to have a third challenge if they get one of their two right. I love that.
Yeah.
I love the opportunity of like trying to, instead of an onside kick, you have the opportunity to go for on 4th and 20. I thought that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Is that a rule that they've proposed or passed?
Yeah, Philadelphia Eagles propose it every year for the last like 3 years now. And so they're doing it again, right? So hopefully they'll consider it. But the hip drop tackle was definitely it was unanimous. It was unanimous. So I was like, oh damn! So everybody wanted that shit out. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we're gonna see how it goes. But I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it is. And Well, I'm curious to see how they're going to call that. And did they say, is that going to be like 10, 15 yards?
They said it was a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down, and then the NFL committee will have an opportunity to review the penalty to determine how much of a fine the person will get. So it's
Yeah.
like it sucks, man. Like it's just gonna, you know, like they had a clip of Mike Mitchell talking about this same exact thing a couple years ago when he was tackling Zach Eifert after he had gotten a really bad ball thrown to him by Andy Dalton. And he goes, "Look, I'm
Yeah.
supposed to if he had stayed on his feet and Dalton threw a better ball, I would have hit him in the gut. But because he threw a bad ball and he had to die for it, I unfortunately hit him in the head. I not only do I get a 15-yard penalty, first down, they fine me $50K later. So it's like,
Yeah.
and then what am I supposed to do? Like, am I supposed to tell him that I'm about to tackle him before I tackle him? Like, like it doesn't make sense. And I get where he's coming
Yeah.
from his perspective. Yeah, it's frustrating as hell. Like, how are you supposed to take somebody down? So I don't know. They show examples like rugby players that are like half the size of some of these guys and the way they're tackling people, and they grab their legs and they bring them down and they don't swing their legs around and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see. But all I know is that if the NFL, if Goodell keeps going this route, he might be trying to escape to Barbados like freaking P. Diddy is right now with that federal raid that he got going on. He's just, gosh, he's like, the hell with this. And his kid's getting arrested and he's over there on the airplane. He's gone out. I was like, damn, dude, it's like that. So I had to figure out a way to try to plug that into our segment today because I thought that was funny.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see how they call that, man. And I'd be curious to know of the injuries on hip drop tackles, how many of them were on turf versus grass. I would like to
Yeah,
see.
the give. I'll look on that. Yeah.
Yeah, like are they happening more often on turf? Like, are they happening more on grass? If it's because I would say the theory in my mind would be it happens more on turf because it doesn't have like as much give, and so
Right.
it's like, well, why not first force teams to go to grass
Yeah.
and see how many of those types of tackles / injuries, combos still happens, but. That would, I guess, it would cost the owners too much money, and so it's just better to change the rules, right? That costs less money.
It's funny though, because I know them going turf is a cheaper option when it comes to their field maintenance, but for the
Yeah.
amount of money that they're making every year on these teams, they can afford it. Like you're talking about, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. These guys are not getting chump change when it comes to the things that they sell, when it comes to merchandise revenue and everything. I mean,
Yeah.
and True North is fine. He's 100% right. You're going to smoke it or you're going to run on it. Either way, it's going to still cost you some money.
See, that's why just gotta grow your own.
Yeah, right.
But let's get out of the hip job. We'll probably have to talk more about that. It'll probably pop up all throughout the season.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's get into maybe a little free agency here. Is there anybody else out there on the market that you're eyeballing, or guys that you might think be able to come in and contribute in one way or another?
You know what? Like, for as long as Justin Simmons has been out there, he was a really hot name, and he's still out there.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like we do have a chance to get him. There's like this Reddit rumor that's out there that's saying that the Packers are in negotiation, this and that. Now, of course, you can't take every rumor take every rumor with a grain of salt. But that same Reddit group, I believe, was the same ones that broke the news about Devontae going to Vegas 2-3 years ago, right? So it's like, okay, 2 years ago. So it's like, okay, well, maybe there might be some truth to it. So we'll see if Justin Simmons comes to Green Bay. But Simmons, reunion with Micah Hyde. The linebackers that are out there aren't that great, but I wouldn't mind kicking the tires on a guy like Shaquille Leonard, Levante David, or Zach Cunningham. Like, I do truly feel like we don't really know what our defense is going to look like with Jeff Hafley coming in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we feel like we've hit ground like rock bottom, so more than likely it's just nothing but up, right? So with that being said, like, even like us losing Savage, as much as I wasn't too beat up about it, I kind of was wondering man, how would he be in this system, right? Like, we're right now paying Keyshawn Nixon like a starting slot corner. And then if you heard Gutekunst's his comments today, he said the same thing. He goes, we really think that having Keyshawn as a kick returner, but really having him as our nickel slot, he will really lock down that position for us with new coaching, because he's not a good slot. He wasn't a good slot when he was at the Raiders. He was an okay serviceable slot for us, but maybe things change with the proper coaching where you're not playing 10, 15 yards off, and
Yeah.
maybe we'll see why he's getting paid as much money as he is, because you're paying $6 million a year for a guy who's your number one kick returner, all pro kick returner, and he's like a halfway decent slot corner, right? So
Yeah.
Those are like my main ones. Looking at the list that I saw recently, those are probably my biggest ones, because and the thing is, at this point, anyone you get's gonna be cheap. Like, you're not gonna be dropping a lot of money, and I don't see why you can't kick tires on some of these older guys that have been in the league, have some injury issues, but have shown when they're on, right? So how about you? Do you have anybody in mind right now
Yeah. I'll go through one here. True North Packers fans, I don't have any names. The O-line depth, please. Never have enough O-line players. So one guy that comes to my mind, who I think is still out there, is Connor Williams.
Yes.
He tore his ACL late in 2023. Otherwise, he'd probably be a high priority in the market right now. You might be able to get him on like a 1 year bounce back deal, or hey, is your knee still going to be good? We just let Bakhtiari go because he's got a bum knee. Are you going to be able to come here and do your thing? So Connor Williams is the guy I have in mind there when he said that. I don't have any linebackers either, because that's, I think, needs to be addressed in the draft. One other guy I thought too, interior D-line, Calais Campbell. He wants to come back for a 17th year. When you've played 17 years, it's because you're effective and durable. Think of this guy as like the Frank Gore of defensive linemen. I'd love to have Calais Campbell there. He was with the Cardinals when I was living in Phoenix, Arizona, and it sounded like the people of the city loved him as well.
He's a good dude. He's a Walter Man of the Year, not recipient, but he's a finalist every year. So he's definitely a really good dude. Yeah,
like that sounds like he'd fit right in Green Bay. That's the type of character and the type of people we like around there. As a cornerback, I got Xavier Howard. Right, I think he's still out there, but I've heard he's talking to the Lions.
Oh God.
30 years old. He's a ball hawk. 29 picks, 95 passes defended in his career. He wants to play for a contender. He's put that out there. So usually when guys say that, hey, if you make the right deal, like I've made some money, let's go win it all. That's kind of what you get from a 30-year-old cornerback, I think. And then somebody that you said, right? Some guys, older guys, might not have they're on and off the field. So I'm going to go with Michael Thomas at wide receiver, not fully healthy since like 2019. Shows flashes himself for like 10 games. So some people there's always going to be a crowd out there clamoring to bring in a veteran receiver. If we do, I feel like he's that guy. He's worth a flyer, man. Possibly a leader in that locker room of wide receivers, those young bucks. But those are the guys on my radar, man. Just throwing those fellas out there.
I like it. I like it, dude. I was gonna say, I didn't even think about Xavier Howard, man. Like, for as many injuries he's gone through, and he is a little bit of a head case. But the truth is, he's a one hellified corner. Like, you can even put him as a slot, right? Not a slot. You can put him as a safety. And a lot of these corners, that's a proper transition, right? So you got Patrick Peterson still out there. You try him as well too at corner, or play him at safety. So there's opportunity. There's guys there where, like, if Goody's not really feeling this class, then maybe he can go and dip a little bit and get some guys on the cheap to see how they can come in and they can perform. But Gutekunst did say that he would like to see, do I bring in a player who's a veteran, or do I bring in a young person who has something to prove? And he did that last year, right? He did the same thing with the offense last year, where there's a lot of growing pains, but once they clicked, it was literally like just lights out, right? I feel like he might be trending with the same way this year too. Thoughts on Fields to Pittsburgh? So this is a good one. So for me, I tell people I've been a Justin Fields fan since he was at Ohio State. I love the kid. I was really pissed the Bears got him. I'm really happy that he's over in Pittsburgh now, because maybe he'll get a proper opportunity under some good coaching, because Arthur Smith is a good OC, right? I hate Russell Wilson. I think he's the most fakest, corniest person in the world. But in his defense, he could be a good mentor for Justin Fields. Like he could be the
Yeah.
veteran presence that comes in and kind of show him how to work and this and that. Because I mean, that man does not waste a single opportunity to put some social media shit about him working out and doing something. Like he is incredulous when it comes to the number of stuff he posts about just the way he does stuff. It's insane. But I just think Fields was never really given a proper opportunity in Chicago, and I think that he definitely has a good opportunity there. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I hope he can find that. I hope he can steal that job from Russell Wilson by earning it.
Yeah,
And
no, that's what I've been hearing people on social media saying, like, watch Fields win the quarterback competition in Pittsburgh.
it could happen. Like he's not
Definitely.
I'm telling you, like the things that people talk about this on the field. Yeah, maybe he's not like. I don't think he's the bad thrower. I just don't think he's been in a good offense to kind of like have him go to the maximum of his abilities, like his ceiling, right? But the truth is like him as a human, as a leader, as a person off the field, he's everything you want in a quarterback.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does over there. So, I know this is a Packers show, but we could definitely talk about some other players too. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, no, I'm down. And and if it's any way to like talk down on the Bears,
of
because
course,
Illinois
we'll take
is
it.
below us.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
um,
the Bears gonna get Caleb Williams, and that's probably a foregone conclusion. And the truth is, like Caleb is he could be a generational talent, right? Like he could be.
yeah.
If I'm him, though, I heard that I don't know how true this is, but I'm hearing that the Bears want to put him through psychological tests, and if that's
Yeah.
true, I would tell him to tell them f off. I'm putting Eli. Even if you draft me, I'm not coming to y'all. So you might as well trade me out to somebody else because
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like, did you give like psychological tests to other quarterbacks? Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, this man's like,
Yeah.
I'd find that kind of disrespectful. I was like, yeah, I don't think that's right. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, so free agency, man. It's the cool thing about
It's
free agency. It's not over. It just starts in March and it goes all the way through the whole year, and then it goes into
yeah.
the season. So you never know. I mean, think about it. Back in 2010, when we picked up Howard Green, we picked him up off the heap scrap. And he
Yeah.
was such an important contributor on our defense when it comes to like just the run game, the run defense, and just I mean he's the reason why that Big Ben threw that pick. That was a pick six by Nick Collins. It was his
Yeah.
pressure up the middle that caused that. So yeah,
Yeah.
like,
You
I
know,
don't know.
he sort of was kind of saying something like workable linebackers will be available when the roster cuts come down, right? When we
Yeah.
start seeing roster cuts throughout the post, preseason and stuff like that, we could find those workman type guys to plug into our linebacking core. I
think.
hope we
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just hope we draft. I hope we
Yeah.
find some in the draft on the edge and in the middle.
So it's funny we said free agency, right? And I think we should definitely not. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the players that we resigned, right? Us bringing back Eric Wilson, and if you look at him just from an RAS perspective, right? He is a prototypical inside linebacker. Like he runs with the wind. He's pretty big for a middle linebacker. I think it's like 6'1", 230, 235, right?
Yeah.
And that's normally what linebackers are kind of running at nowadays. You don't really see the 240, 250 guys as much anymore. And like you brought back Isaiah McDuffie, right? And you still got Quay. I mean, really, I feel like inside linebacker and special teams has been given the weapons they need. Like they brought back Robert Rochelle. They brought back Corey Ballantyne. They brought back a lot of these guys that are key contributors on special teams. And this is Rich. I really do feel like this Richard Bisaccia's like make or break year. Like, you've had a special teams that was ranked the 32nd in the league last year. That is garbage, dude. You're getting paid way too much money to be coaching some kind of shit like that. So he's definitely in a hot seat. He's definitely put up or shut up kind of situation where I just need a middle of the pack special teams. Would I like top 10? Of course. That's what we're paying them for. But if I can get like a rank 15 through 20, give it to me. I'll take it at this point. I just need something better than what we got. You know what I mean? And I just feel like the way Gutekunst has kind of constructed this roster, when that pick 25 comes, if we stay there, if we move up, we move down, he has a good opportunity just taking best player available and running with it.
Yeah. True North Parker fan here was saying too, something we could say about Nixon as well. The
Yeah.
new kickoff rule should help Nixon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. We were kind of waiting for. I mean, he still had some solid returns, but a couple seasons ago was he had such a dynamic season returning the ball. I think we were all kind of like waiting for that to kind of happen again, and hopefully with these rule change, we see more Nixon opportunities bringing the ball back.
You almost saw in that Niners game, man. He took that ball back, and I was like, "This dude gonna do it." And then when he fumbled it, my heart sank and dropped. I was like, "Here we go with this bullshit again." And then lo and behold, number 45, number Eric Wilson, just comes in and saves the day. I mean, we didn't. And honestly, if we'd have won that game, he would have been the MVP, dog. That's it. I heard also that the Packers were looking at a veteran kicker, and they were at the verge of signing him. And then last second, he decided to go to another team. I think it was Nick Foles. I'm guessing here. Nick Folk, sorry.
Yeah.
Nick Folk was the kicker that got picked up by Tennessee, I believe. But he was a guy with the Patriots, and he's like a very high efficiency kicker, right? And it's been commentary that they got a guy, they brought him from Georgia. I want to say Georgia, Alabama. They signed a free agent after the playoffs were over, right? And then they were looking at veteran kickers to bring competition for Andrews, which they should have done last year, which was stupid for them not to. I think they didn't want to rattle his confidence, which I think is dumb. But definitely need they are going to like certain schools where the only player they have is a kicker. And there was some kicker that's out there right now who, oh man, I forgot his name, but this guy was like 100%. He's like 192 for 192 extra points and a very high efficient kicker. And I'm like, man, at this point, I don't even care if we draft him. I draft another kicker as long as it's him and who has a proven track record in comparison to Andrew Carlson, who was more like a good old boy hire, like he was more like a nepotism hire for Mr. Rich Bisaccia because he knew the family and he's like, oh, I know them. I came up with them. I coached them at Auburn. Like, fuck about all that, dude. Can he kick or not? Dude, a torn ACL. He can't even kick for shit. Like, what are we doing here? Like, but yeah, so it'll be cool to see like kind of how this kind of plays out here in the next couple of years. I'm hoping that we decide to dive a little bit more into like maybe bring in an actual veteran kicker.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Georgia was it Georgia Soder? Thank you.
Yeah, and it's that's how I feel, man. Make it a competition. I don't understand why this is a thing anymore, where it's like people don't want to like compete for its spot.
Look at Kenny Pickett, Look at Kenny. That dude said, I don't want to compete with Russ. Nah, the hell with this. Trade me. I'm like, this dude, you better. I was like, bro, you and your little tiny ass hands, you lucky you got a damn quarterback position somewhere, boy. You better stop. Stop it. Talking all that trash. I was like, you stupid as hell, man.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna name names, but they're out there.
Well, it's funny what you said though. I find it's very true where the spirit of competition has kind of gone down a lot because you have the NIL, you have all this NIL money, you have the opportunity to go into the transfer portal. If you're not getting starting reps, you're like, screw this, I'm gonna go to another school where I'll get starting reps, right? A lot of people would go to Alabama because Nick Saban, and knowing that he's a pipeline to the NFL, right? But then you had players who were at Alabama who left because they weren't able to cut it with the other 4 or 5 star athletes, and they would go elsewhere. Like Alvin Kamara was a prime example. That backfield back in the day for Alabama was disgusting. Kamara just went to Tennessee, blew it up, and then he's still amazing. He's still an amazing football player. But we may not even saw him if he had stayed at Alabama because of the guys that were ahead of him, right? But you're right though. I just feel like the competitive spirit is definitely being waned a lot in the upcoming years because of just the fact of there's so many opportunities for people to do other things.
Yeah. And speaking of stuff like that, I understand like grad transfers as well, your last year, going somewhere, if opportunity, right? Like, someone's deep in the depth chart there. And they're just like, man, I'm not going to get it here. I got to, go get my snaps elsewhere. But man, the whole portable transfer NIL thing, I'm glad the players are getting paid. I'm personally all for that. Yeah. And but could it settle down? Is it this like since it's new, it's like the hot thing to do, and then like there's going to be more and more guys who get that experience and maybe
Yeah,
start going like, oh man, I wish I would have stuck somewhere longer,
exactly.
So that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show, though.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, though.
Um,
You're right. Yeah, but
and,
Soder's right.
oh,
True. Yeah, I was gonna say he's right about. I was gonna take. Go ahead, take it, take it.
As I said, we picked up a cheap running back, a free agent, AJ Dillon, right? The mayor of Door County took a deal to stick with us. So,
It was cool. Hey, I love that, man. That's like carrying the G to the max, dude.
Yeah. So hey, let's jump into a mock draft that I pulled up, and so this is just the first 3 rounds. That's the way I'm going for it right now. I'm just enjoying talking about those first 5 picks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to address that, because I feel like we still need something in the running back room. I talked about linebacker earlier, and we were talking about offensive line.
Yeah.
So my I decided to shift a little bit here and go defensive line right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And who I took was Jerzon Newton from Illinois. I watch a lot of Big Ten football. That's probably why my first two picks here are from the Big Ten.
Yep.
I just seen them, but yeah, Newton's, man, he's disruptive. Some of his like measurables aren't overwhelming. They're I'm trying to find the words for it, because I guess the best way to put it is like he's like Carl Brooks, right? He doesn't look like he's gonna be this super athletic stud or anything like that, but he just like finds the way to do anything and everything, and he doesn't look like it. But I'm all for this guy. He's strong enough to hold the point. He's not going to overwhelm the NFL with force and power, but he's got he plays at the level and the athleticism that he can outplay guys. He's a 3-down technique guy. But this is a guy I think that is a plug and play right away. You can play him alongside Kenny Clark, or Kenny Clark can tutor this guy. So that's who I got in that first round. Tyler Nubin, I see that he's Soder. Nubin, oh my.
Yeah,
and
well, his workout wasn't as good as they expected it to be. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that. I was reading about him today, and maybe this is too high for him. But do we always have to listen to what they say, at the combine and workouts and stuff like that? No, he's rangy. He can. I think he's got the size, the length, the instincts. But
good program of Fleck and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is like we're talking about Justin Simmons, right? Say if we are bringing him in, right, then I think safety, I think it goes deeper into the draft. But go ahead.
No, I agree with you. I think the Newton pick was awesome because he's like a consensus top 15 pick, and for him to go fall to us at 25 would be disgusting, because the guy was probably the best player on Illinois, and the only reason why he's probably wasn't a well-known name is because the fact that he played at Illinois wasn't a real good program to start with, right? But he is an absolute monster on that line. I mean, he embarrassed all of Michigan's offensive linemen. It was sad. And so that picture you posted was awesome. And the truth is we are looking to that's an awesome pick right there. And he was look at that man with the elbows all busted up and everything. That's probably because of Newton shit. But the truth is though, Kenny Clark is 28 years old, which is insane to me, and he will probably get the rare 3rd contract, right? But you need to have guys in the stables when it comes to defensive line. There's a reason why the Giants won the Super Bowl those 2 years, because they literally had 2 starting rotational lineups on defense when it comes to their defensive line. Their defensive line was just completely stacked. And if you do that with a 4-3 defense, or, it's a 4-2-5 nickel base, but 4-3 is the true base, right? You get that kind of just those guys just coming into your waves. You ain't gonna have no reprieve. You ain't gonna be able to get anything back, right? And Newman, man, I'm with you, man. I love Newman. His tape is amazing. His workout
Yeah.
wasn't great, but dude, his numbers are no better than freaking Xavier McKinney's. And Xavier McKinney is probably like hands down one of the best safeties in the league right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, like you bring in Simmons, you
And-
got Xavier, and then shit, you draft Newman or Cam Kitchens or something like that. Boom, guess what? He can take time to develop because you got these other veterans ahead of him, just like we did with
Yeah.
Smith, and Gary. Same thing. But go
Ab-
please continue with the rest
Yeah.
of your picks. I saw some guys that I like too. So
Yeah. But yeah, I'm a believer of game tape over workouts. It's just my opinion. But Kieran Amagaji, this is a guy, athletic big man, and eye-popping length.
Mhm.
There's obviously some things there playing at the level that he did that he's got to get coached up and polished. He could start right away. He's good off the line as a drive blocker. He's got the explosiveness with the athleticism. So run blocking was a problem last year. This guy can help out right away there. T Soder says tall. He's too tall.
How tall is he? Is he 6'8"?
I think so.
Yeah, so it's like the Caleb Jones thing. Caleb Jones was the outlier, right? And we brought him in. But yeah, I get it. Like I know the Packers have these measurables and they do normally stick to it. That's true, but as long as he has longer than 33-inch arms, he gonna play tackle. He can play tackle in Green Bay, right? And you get him with our second round pick or third round even. That's not bad, man. You're not dropping a first round pick on him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Probably the only tackle in the first round that I drop is Joe Alt's probably the only guy that I put a first round pick on. That's it.
And I'll take a guy from Yale any day too.
Oh yeah, dude. Yale. I was gonna say,
give me some smart dudes, man. And so I mean, there's some things he's got to work on, but that's what I got there. And then this is a pick. I went in a different direction here. Running back, I went with Bucky Irving. Because the state of Wisconsin needs as many Buckies in it as possible. His actual name is Marquise, I think, Irving, but he goes by Bucky. He's a compact guy. He runs with a head full of steam. He runs with confidence, but patience. He's got to work on his patience. Sometimes he's running into a wall rather than letting the play develop. But I think he had like 55 catches last year as well. So, this is a guy that can catch. They said his routes are a little tight, but he catches the ball really clean and smooth. And so this is a guy that, maybe this is a bit of a reach here too. Maybe you could get him a little later. But I feel like we need a running back still to complement the two guys. I think that's just the state of the NFL now. I think you need to have three backs ready to go. And I feel like Green Bay's been at two, right? Two serviceable backs. And then for the last pick, man, a little NFL legacy pick here. Give me Jeremiah Trotter Jr., inside linebacker.
Getting him that late wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad at all. Yeah.
Yeah, they love the bloodlines, man. Outstanding IQ. I'm all for this pick, and we got to show her up. I think inside linebacker, we got to do it one way or the other. But yeah, man, that's my little mock draft there that I went for with today.
I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah. Key starters is Garrett Greenfield, offensive tackle, South Dakota State, is the most Packer O-line pick in this draft. And, know the guy, but I'll have to dig into more, some more tape, though, on that.
I was going to say, if Mitch was there, if Milt Hendrickson was over at South Dakota for their pro day, then you have a good idea about who you might be looking at because there is a lot of good talent that's come out of that FCS kind of division, right? Like Cody Monch was another one that was coming out that was really good too.
Tucker Kraft.
Oh yeah, Tucker Kraft. You can't even stop Tucker Kraft, Christian Watson, a lot of these guys, right? But no, I'm not. I promise you, I'm not. The only time I roll my eyes maybe is Jeremiah Trotter Jr. only because I've been I blame the draft industrial complex. And the reason why I roll my eyes is because I never want anyone like and Bernie's good people, and this and he what he says is
Hmm.
true. Is like, oh, some of these guys might be a reach, or some of these guys won't fall to us. And the truth is that because of this damn draft industrial complex, aka Dick, we like always set ourselves up in thinking that, right? And then when we get a guy who either we take him too early, we think, oh man, we reached. And then if we take a guy who we think, we go, oh, we got to steal, right? And the truth is, like, these guys come in with these like round grades, and then you come to find out that, once they get in the NFL, that doesn't mean anything, right? Everyone's a rookie. Everyone doesn't matter where they get drafted, and as long as the coaching staff does what they need to do, the player does what he needs to do, and they get a proper opportunity, who knows where they can go. So it's true, like you may see some of these guys, like Bucky Irving is a guy who I think looks really good, but his RAS score is not something that you would see the Packers normally jump on. But the truth
Yeah.
is like he comes from a good program. He has a good elusiveness. He just didn't run as great as he could have at the combine. But I don't know if Oregon's had their pro day yet. But it's no different than the kid out of Notre Dame. What is the running back? Audric Tate. He like ran like a 4.7 at the combine. He then comes to the pro day and he runs like a 4.5 or 4.4, 4.5 at 240 pounds. Like that was the time people were looking at. And he literally went from like a 6th, 7th round pick because that 4.7 40 to now he's kind of getting back to where they were thinking, like between rounds 2 and 4. But it's like, I don't know, man. I only roll my eyes at certain, like the things that, like when I hear people tell us like, oh, well, he won't be there. And I'm like, you don't know that. Like, dog, like Quentin Mitchell could fall, right? Like he could fall. And what if he falls, you tell him not going to take Tyrion Arnold. Like Matt Miller just said today that imagine Tyrion Arnold in Green Bay. He doesn't think it can happen, but if he falls, could you imagine him in Green Bay? And I'm like, you're damn right. And exactly right. That's exactly right, Garrison. Exactly right. You look at Jaden Reed's RAS score. It was not that good. But he was a standout at the Senior Bowl. He was a standout his last year in Michigan. And look, that's all. Honestly, I'm telling everybody here right now. You just look at who was at the Senior Bowl and at the Shrine Bowl and things like that. Those are the kind of guys that Green Bay normally goes after. Those are the kind of guys they invest their top 50 picks in. Is those guys at the Senior Bowl? That's what they look at. Jordan Love was a Senior Bowl guy. Jaden Reed was a Senior Bowl guy. Bo Melton was a Senior Bowl guy. There's a lot of guys that, that's just the guys I'm naming off the top of my head, but there's a lot of dudes they get from their Luke Musgrave was. I'm just saying, man, like you'd be surprised. Like go back and look. They definitely utilize that Senior Bowl. Jim Nagy and his crew do an amazing job of getting those guys ready and they're being able to display their skills. So sorry, I went on a rant. My bad.
No, man, you're good. I like it. Yeah, no, it's exciting, man. We're a month out, and I'm excited to see how it goes down. And in a couple years, then of course we'll have the draft in Green Bay. That's something I'm looking forward to.
We gotta go to that, bro. We gotta figure out a way to get to. Yeah, gotta go.
I will be there, man. No, I'm
do a live show from there or something. Hell yeah, dog.
I'm gonna stay with some family. I'm gonna be staying with some family and making it probably to all 3 days.
All right, call Corey. I got Corey Banky and see if he'll let me sleep in his garden or something. I don't know, but maybe he'll help me out. But no, man. I thought your draft was pretty cool. It's different from what you've seen normally, right? But the truth is like, man, like this draft is going to be. We're literally almost 30 days out from it. If you think about it, like what I'm saying, like this whole month went by fast as hell, dude. Like we're already going to be in April next month. I can't wait. And I think one of the cool things that we got coming up next is the Jordan Love extension, and a lot of things are being thrown out there, right? And David Mugata, his agent, and Athletes First, that man, he gets his guys paid. And if anybody hasn't seen it, go back and watch Jordan Love on the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark, Fred Taylor, Brandon. I think Brandon Marshall was there, but I'm not 100% sure. But go back and watch that. It just gives you even more insight into what kind of amazing young man this is. He talks about all the adversity he felt when he lost his father at the age of 14. He was going to give up on football, and then he went back and decided his mom kind of pushed him to keep playing, and then look where he is now. He's a starting quarterback for Green Bay Packers. And like what I loved about him was the fact that this guy's gone through so much. Like when he fails in his eyes, he always can go back and be like, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as it could have been or bad as it was, and whatever, right? Like it's just an amazing show. And I can see why Goody said today what he did, where it's like someone made a comment like, well, he's only seeing he's seen 1 year of him starting. You're willing to pay him all that money. And Goody's like, the great thing is that we've had him in the room. We've had him in our room for 4 years. So we know exactly what kind of person we're getting, what kind of leader he is, what kind of athlete he is, what kind of person he is on and off the field. And we have no qualms about paying him that money because he has shown us that he's earned it. I fucking love that, dude. I was like, that was cool. I'm telling you, that pivot show, like, it's like literally like this whole offseason has been Jordan just being himself. And it has been the most refreshing thing that I've seen in Green Bay in a very long time. That's not a knock on 12 by any means. It's just different. There's a humility there that, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing being arrogant because, I mean, if you can back it up, then who cares, right? Like Tom Brady was arrogant. Peyton Manning was arrogant, right? But like Jordan doesn't come off that way. And, like maybe the money would change it. Maybe when he wins his first Super Bowl, he becomes the MVP or something that changes it. No joke, man. I just seems like
I don't see him changing, man. I don't get that from
him.
I
don't. I just don't see it. Like the way he just talks about how he didn't really have anything and like, had to lose his father due to some medication having some kind of, adverse effect on him. Like just to see like that. Like I just feel like this man's he's just happy to be present. Like I think that's awesome, man. I just think it's great. I think he's going to represent Green Bay the way it needs to be represented.
Yeah. So what kind of deal you think he's going to get? Like what's numbers wise? You got any figures to throw out there?
I saw something like 5 for 50 each, right? But Goody even said it. He goes, we're in preliminary talks right now, but we have to do there's a lot more going on. It's not, I don't expect this to be done quickly, but you never know. But the truth is like we got to do what's best for Jordan and what's best for the team. And if you recall when Rodgers got his first big contract, it was literally after, I think it was either after the Super Bowl win or it was the year before he won the Super Bowl. And same thing, like it was the highest contract at the time, but that guy just jumped right away. You know what I'm saying? And whatever Jordan signs now will be a steal in 2 years. Like it'll probably be a 5-year deal. 5 years, it'll be a $250 million, probably like $265, $70 million contract, 50 a year. Yeah. But anything he signs now, like I said, there's going to be other quarterbacks that are coming that came same draft as him, like 2 and all them, as well as other quarterbacks that are going to make probably just go superset it, right? And once they go over it, it's going to be a steal for us. I think I really do. And Daly's going to get the most money he can get for his players, which I respect. That's fine as an agent's job, but yeah, no, I'm thinking it's going to be something around that 50 a year, probably.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, man. I was, thinking 4 or 5 years, 50 million each year, going to be like 150 to 175, probably guaranteed.
Yep.
So it's going to be, like you said, though, like, let's get it done ASAP, man. That's like, because like you said, in a couple of years, it's just the market just keeps getting bigger.
And, they can't do it until May. They got till May to do it, right? So, but you're right, though. Like, they'll have until May to do it, and then they'll go from there. But yeah, no, And one thing we didn't say about free agency, and there's a 1% chance this happens. And in my dream state, and I know right now Soder's probably going to roll his eyes when I say this, but I'm hoping that around training camp time, or maybe at the middle of training camp, David Bakhtiari comes back. They check his knee out. Knee is looking good. He's looking healthy. They sign him to a 1-year deal with a lot of incentives, and he comes in and he's a starting left tackle for Green Bay. That is my dream, dog. I know it's a 1%. It's a 0.0000001% chance of that happening. But it's like Dumb and Dumber, man. You tell me there's a chance.
So is he not getting like looked at by anyone? Is he
not right now? No. Like when the Jets signed Tyrion Smith, I was like, shit, he's not going there now. They got Tyrion, right? And I haven't seen anything on him right now. Like I normally keep a track of that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, he's getting for a workout, he's getting called in. His knee's not right, dude. He couldn't even pass a physical. So they're probably gonna have to wait probably another couple months for his knee to be to where they can get workouts in and start, giving him a shot. So
yeah. And speaking of like other contract work, right? We're gonna try probably be restructuring Kenny Clark's, and
Well, they'll probably extend him now because they missed that chance. Yeah. So there was an opportunity to restructure him. Gary, and Ja, and they didn't do any of them, right?
Okay.
So, and he's coming up on the last year of his deal. So more than likely, and it's like he's a big cap hit. So I
Yeah.
would be surprised if they give him that rare third year extension. Sorry, rare third contract. Because the thing is like it's the whole year too soon than too late. But he's 20. He came in the league in 2016 as a 19-year-old who had just turned 20. Okay. So now here you are, like, 8 years later, he's 28. And I'm thinking like I think he turns 29 this year. But my thing is like,
Yeah.
dude, like, no joke. Like, you can get a good 3-4 years out of him still, I think, especially in this
Yeah.
defense, right? So I think they might just want to wait to see how he performs in this defense. And if he excels, but I think he will, good goobity goo to sign him
Yeah.
up. And I see some people hating on Kenny, not hating, but being like, "Oh, he's good, but he's not elite." And I'm like, bro, like when he was in Dom Capers' defense for that 1 year, he was pretty awesome. When he was in Penn's defense, he was pretty awesome. And then since he's been in this dude's whack ass defense, he's had moments of greatness. But I just don't think that he's been given a great opportunity to showcase what he can do.
Yeah. I'm excited just in general to see the defense and see how some of these players that we've had for years where we feel like maybe they're losing their touch, or other players who are not hitting their potential. Like
Yep.
I'm curious to see what players on this defense all of a sudden look like a different player. They maybe look revitalized under Hafley.
There's a guy you always mentioned that you always talk about is Devontae Wyatt. And you always talk about
Yeah.
how like he's such a beast. I just remember like this dude came in and he ran a 4.78 40 at 305 fucking pounds. That is faster than like some like wide receivers and linebackers, bro. All I'm saying is
Yeah.
like we have yet to see these guys that I feel like have had a very low ceiling and high floor because of Barry. And I feel like that's going to reverse. You're going to have a very
Yeah.
low floor and a very high ceiling because of the fact that you're going to have, I feel like you're going to have proper coaching, which we haven't had.
Yeah.
Completely
Yeah,
agree.
Stokes gets it figured out. That would be so awesome, and then Garrison here. Wyatt is so close to double-digit sacks from interior.
He was this close to like 5 freaking sacks that he missed. Like this close. If he just cleans that up, he finishes those, man. It's I mean, they got TJ Slayton, who's another space eater, but he moves really well. I mean, I never see a 350-pound man as big as him dunk, and he dunks like boom.
Yeah,
bro, I'm 205 at 6'3". I can't dunk. I hate him. Not really. I love him. I'm jealous of him, if anything. But that's insane to me. I don't know. Goody's been a masterclass in these last 2 drafts. I feel like he's really hit his stride. I'm kind of hoping that he carries that into his next one, because if he hits on this draft, you can almost book a Super Bowl, bro. You can almost book it.
Yeah. It's I want to respect everyone's time though. And so if you got any last words here, anything is I'm stoked to see how personally just how everything is working out. I'm excited to see these contracts. Right, April is almost here, and it's just like to me, man, like April comes, man, like draft talk's gonna start getting real deep. Then soon the draft will be here, and then that opens a whole new thing. Whole new can of worms to talk about when these guys are on their teams. But I just want to say too is next week I'll be traveling. I'll be out of town, so I think we'll be taking the week off. But then April 8th, I believe it is, we will be back and hopefully with a guest, and we'll get more into that draft talk. But that's what I got for my last words.
Okay. I was going to piggyback off that. And me and Bernie, we talk a lot about draft. We talk a lot about players. We talk about their skill set. All these college kids are having this opportunity to live out their dreams. And I feel like we both feel like we should bring on people that actually do this for a living. Folks that we follow on Twitter and other spaces that literally put out content specifically for the NFL draft. So we're going to be talking to some people here in the next hopefully for the next 3 weeks before the draft, and then after the draft for a week or two, having guests talk about not just like the NFL draft, but people that we feel that know Packers measurables and things that kind of tendencies that the Packers have when it comes to the trends of their drafting. We want to try to bring that to you guys to see you guys so you can see the things that we see, and folks get an opportunity to kind of brag about the information that they have when it comes to these players that they're talking about. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. And yeah, man, this is an exciting time of the year. I'm just waiting for the Iowa Pro Day. I'm waiting for the Iowa Pro Day, and I'm waiting for Cooper DeJean's Pro Day. Every single mock draft I see is that Bama right there. And I know we're not going to get him. I just know it. But I'm telling you, bro, if that happens, I know some people hating on it. I don't care. Pants off, baby. Let's go. I'm down. But the truth is, man, I just love doing this, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can bring to all of our folks here when it comes to just Packer information. We will hope that you guys enjoy what we provide, and looking forward to keep doing this.
Right on. Hey, thanks for everyone joining us tonight. This is Coast to Coast Packers here on Game On Wisconsin. I'm Bernie Bango.
I'm Armored Sai.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks.